Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for your patience. It has been a long session, but I hope you to have your full attention for this final presentation. I'm going to talk about digital economy and robotics. Before that, I would just like to shortly introduce myself. I'm Dr. Ramesh Caussy from École Polytechnique, President and founder of Partnering 3.0, R&D company. I also have the great privilege to be chairman of a PIO organization, Govio International, and we have recently created a science and technology group for all the PIO. You're welcome to join our group. So, as we have a limited 15 minutes for the presentation, I just wanted to make sure that I can deliver some key messages. The first one is that digital economy is a field that today has the utmost attention of all developed economies of the world. So we deeply believe that India should accelerate the structuration of its ecosystem toward this economic growth engine, and also that it is a good opportunity for India to rethink its education system and course content to prepare the future generation to evolve in a digital society and connected world. And finally, what I will do, I will present a good opportunity of this digital economy that is robotics, service robotics. And again, we believe it is a great area for R&D and for India to get involved in. So, what is this digital economy? This is a good question. Most of the time there is a confusion with other terms such as e-commerce or business models. And digital economy is something different now, and this is a term that has evolved and described different fields that go beyond this limited conception and encompass a great variety of actors. Among them, you have the digital technology providers, the guys who are creating the digital blocks, the innovation, the products. You have the internet pure players, like Facebook, for example, the people that exist and rely only on internet to build their revenue. Then you have the vertical sectors. This is all the industry that use the digital technology to increase their productivity, to develop new ties by other players, but also now they are starting to produce content, and this really changed the game. Finally, you also have the governments now that realize the importance of this digital economy. So what they are doing now, they are starting to structure their solution to welcome all this flow of information. So we see that now people have a better understanding in the developed economy of the impact of the digital technology. And what they are trying to do now is to push toward plans to develop digital societies, to develop digital life, digital cities. So this economy, this digital economy now is considered as a critical factor determining the future competitiveness of nation. It is really important to understand that if a country now do not develop a good infrastructure, and above this infrastructure, the services, then above the services, the usage, and educate the people to use the technology to create value, to innovate, to develop new enterprise and services, these countries are taking the risk to be left behind. So in terms of figures, McKinsey just explained that during the 15 last years, the digital economy produced more value, more growth than the industrial revolution during the last 50 years. So it really means that the impact now is measured, and also it means that every nation is trying to understand and to build their own strategy toward this opportunity. If we look at the 5 past years, most of the developed economies have created more than 20% of their GDP through digital economy sectors. So the momentum is really good to jump into this wagon. So I tried to give you some, sorry, I don't have the mouse. I tried to give you some figures to explain a little bit all these different level technology blocks, then verticals, consumer are part of this digital economy and how they are contributing to the digital growth, so GDP growth. This is measured, and also this activity now is highly monitored. You have here the report from the OECD, the European organization, and you see that the total size of the digital economy is estimated at more than $20 trillion for end of end of this year, in fact. So you see now that it's becoming more and more serious, and in terms of total sales revenue flowing through the world, it will represent more than 12%. So now it's becoming something extremely solid. Digital economy also in terms of research, this is the R&D Summit, has distinctive subjects. What does it mean? It means that there are researchers in specific research fields that are studying the different parts of this field. You have people studying ecosystem management and cooperation, studying the emerging of new players. If I say Facebook, you know what Facebook is. If I'm talking about internet market maker, how many people know what an internet market maker is? Not a lot, because this is the kind of new players that are reshaping the industry form and that they are creating space to develop new industries. We also need to study the subject of digital strategies, digital usage, the social media, digital content. There's a lot of subjects. So the point is that the research, academic research, is already organized to work and to produce potential knowledge that could become product in some areas. One of the interesting point is this ability of the digital economy to create emerging markets, emerging platforms, emerging technology. What it means? It means that the world is going to change. We have the airport, the bank, transport, all the things that we know, but there are new opportunities that are coming. Among these opportunities, there is one that is the service robotics. It's totally new, and I've chosen to focus on that one. Before this, as this is the R&D Summit, I just wanted to ask some question regarding this digital economy. How to manage the society transition from an energy-based society to a knowledge-based society? What public policy should be engaged? So this is really a research question. People are really trying to see how to move from managing scarcity to a zero-sum game in terms of mathematics. You give, you lose. To move to a knowledge society where the equation is changing. You share, you win. You give, you don't lose. So it's really a shift in terms of paradigm. We also need to rethink the education sector in the context of digital economy. We need new content. You know, the new generation, they already know how to use mobile phone. They understand internet, but they need to get trained on how to build their digital strategy, how to create new usage, how to be part of this digital world. So we need to prepare the citizen and the next generation to evolve into this connected world where some element will be different. We are now talking about lifetime permanent learning. This is something different. In our classical life, we go to school, we learn, and then we go to work. Now would be an interaction with the society and the technology where on a constant basis, we'll have to learn and relearn. Another interesting question is which emerging market should be enhanced in a digital economy? There is great variety of potential in biotechnology, DNA's potential. So in which industry should a government invest, bet to create the future growth, the future employment, the jobs for the young, to have the older involved into, playing with this new technology. So this is really important and interesting question. So as I said, one of these emerging markets is the robotic one. And before, trying to understand how this robotics market is happening, we need to understand also how to develop an ecosystem. The time is over now when you just come, You have a technology and you propose this technology. It was an easy time. Now the game has changed. You want to develop a technology, a complex one, that is based on time competition, fast innovation process, multiple source of technology from various industry. We're talking about technology convergence. Mr. Abdul Kalam talked about technology convergence. And here this is an article that I made to show how convergence has evolved for an isocore convergence to a pervasive convergence. And this shift in paradigm creates interesting phenomenon, because now we see that the convergence is moving from the ICT, pure ICT bubble to other bubble, talking to physics, to biotechnologies, and so on. So it raises new type of question. How to structure an emerging market? And we have some element of answer. We know now that we can build what we call the industry architecture, the digital industry architecture. How to create new technology spaces. We make an analogy with Darwin. You see the evolution of the species, but this is the same with technology with a difference. Everything is going 100 times faster and faster, and this is an exponential curve. Also, we have identified some new part of the digital ecosystem. This is very important because if you want to build an organization for a nation to develop into this arena, you need where to put your resources and what will be the core resources that will redistribute the information and also share the tool to build the competence. So there is a real need to rethink our educational system everywhere in the world, not just for India, and to build and develop new content for the young. So, coming to this robotic market that is a very promising and emerging one, we see that we are, you have on your left the Gartner technological curve. It's difficult to read, but you see that on this curve, when you see different emerging market, you see the mobile robotics opportunity. And this is part of a field that we call Internet of Things. There will be different new tools, new devices that will be arriving and that will have to get connected to the internet in order to create what we call the augmented reality opportunity. So among these devices, new kind of robot will be appearing. And if you look at the Japanese Robotics Association figures, this market in terms of size is very impressive. They said that in few years, only few years, so it gives little time to build the competencies and the structure to welcome this opportunity, it will represent more than $66 billion. I just looked at this morning on the figure of the International Federation of Robotics. They say now, in few years, it's not just 66 billion now, it's more than 100 billion. My point is that now people are just realizing how big the robotics opportunity is, and I would like to take a few minutes to talk about that. So, if you look at the research, we have some milestones in robotics. I will not go in detail. This is paper from Japanese researchers. We have the reference back at the presentation. But we see that more than 50 years ago, we saw the first robot appearing, with basic technologies, with the desire of some researcher to build robots like humans, humanoid robotics, so it is a defined term. But then we see that the technology at that time were very limited. So they also tried to develop what we're very good at as human beings, interaction, rich interaction. But then they realized that they did not have the required intelligent, algorithmic intelligence, the required mathematical model to develop this kind of interaction. So progressively we just saw robots with, big size, costing a lot of money, so not enough, let's say, potential to create an industry. But recently, beginning of this secular, we saw people say, okay, let's try to do a change and address what we call the non-humanoid robotics. And then we see that the potential is becoming really big because we have the right technology now to develop this opportunity. So this is here a mathematical representation using the theory of graph to describe the emerging business ecosystem. Your first point would be, Dr. Caussy, we can't see anything. I'm sorry, this is just an ecosystem is appearing. There's a number of players, number of designs. But if you just look at the red bullet, you see non-humanoid robotics opportunity. It is the biggest one. And then you see the humanoid opportunity, which is little less. So what I did, I translate from this mathematical model something easier to read into the main existing usages in the robotic field. I will not go in detail, but you see that we have what you know, the industrial robotics, you know, this machine that we have to build car, to paint the car, and so on. It is well understood. This robotic is critical also for the competitiveness of a nation, because we need to go fast, and the robot have some abilities that we don't have as human. It's not pleasant as a human to think that robot can take your job, and I fully understand that. We have now new research documentation showing that even this industrial robotics will create more than 1 million jobs into the coming 3 years. So it really means that what we believe was a threat will be an opportunity for the nation, but also an opportunity to develop their competitiveness. On what I call the new opportunity, the service robotics, personal usage, it means robot for the home, and robot for the organization, robot for the enterprise. We see now that it's starting with security, telepresence. At home, people, you know, use that as a game. This is the first usage, but then in the coming years, we will see now more matured usage that won't take the job of anyone, but will do the job that we can't do first, but also will help us to save money. So by doing that, this kind of robotic will create opportunities to exist and to find their space between the human, the dog, the cat, the pet in the home, and the children. So we'll see the raising of new kind of technology spaces. So I present them to come back to the research part into this mobile robotic opportunity. This is a research I made at the Musée du Quai Branly in France. I think that you have all recognized my French accent, so I'm living in this country. And we made a research on intelligent mobile robot for highly dynamic environment. What does it mean? It means that today we know the fixed robot, you know, the arms move. Now we'll have with service robotics, robot able to move, but also to understand dynamically their environment. You're moving, the kid is moving, you're changing your bags from a place to another place. The robot understands, is intelligent enough. For that, we did some good research on algorithmic intelligence artificial. And I have to say that this is a pure mathematical area where India has a great legacy. So this is a major opportunity for the Indian researchers and engineers to try to bring their value. And I believe that in this area, India can do a lot. Again, there's a lot of teaching also to do, you know, into this knowledge-based economy. But again, India is a country of the Nalanda University. We have a great legacy with knowledge, and we should build our legacy with digital knowledge. So in this experimentation, what we did, we showed that we can have robots really autonomous that can learn the environment without the need of a cartography, which is the existing model today, but also robot with learning capabilities. What does it mean? It means that we have a robot, he learns, he interacts with you, and you can also learn him, teach him things. So in this case, we demonstrate an aesthetical artificial senses, which was a worldwide premiere in this Musée du Quai Branly. So I really believe this kind of new things that robots do will be critical. The second research we are doing at present time is a three-year research with the DGA, this is the French DRDO, the army stuff, is to work on the interaction part. You know that as humans we are capable of rich interaction. Robots won't be in the coming 5 years able to have this kind of very rich interaction, but they will be able to have what we call low interaction. So today we are working on this model, and again this involves other fields and interdisciplinary collaboration with the people on the social dynamic system, on neurophysiology, and on computational model. Finally, to close this presentation, because I'm also, you know, involved on building the future of service robotics, creating new robots, I would like to share with you this research platform that will be a product next year. This is a prototype platform that will fit into the home and that will fit into the enterprise to develop some very exciting services, but I cannot comment now because we're in the patent filing process. So thank you very much for your attention.